Good morning, class. It's me, Miss Jones. Today we're going to read Volcano Rising. This is a book. The genre of the book is nonfiction, which, as you already know because you learned earlier in the year, means it's full of facts. It's real life things. So the thing about this book, it's called expository text, which means it has bold print, fact bubbles, and different things like glossaries to show you which facts to pay attention to. This book is written by Elizabeth Rusch, illustrated by Susan Swan. Kaboom! Most people think volcanoes are either sound asleep or blowing their tops off in fiery, ash-spewing catastrophes. So as you guys know, most people think that volcanoes are like these big monsters and they destroy communities and destroy everything around them. But that's not what this book is going to focus on. This book is going to focus on the good stuff about volcanoes. But volcanoes are not just destructive. Much more often, volcanoes are creative. Creative means that you are going to create something. They grow taller and wider, they form majestic mountains, and they build new islands where there were none before. Look at the pretty pictures. The illustrations are beautiful. Now notice here the print has changed. There's bold print on the top and smaller print on the bottom. So they want you to pay attention to something here. That's why there's a change in the print. Let's see what they want us to pay attention to. Both creative and destructive eruptions start with gooey melted rock called magma. Magma from deep in the earth rises up a gigantic straw-like tube to a vent or opening. If magma makes it to the Earth's surface, it's called lava. So as you see here, magma turns into lava. It starts as magma, and when it comes out, it's called lava. A burst of lava is an eruption. Like we saw on the other page, kaboom. Magma is made up of gases, as well as melted and partially melted rock. As it rises and fills huge underground chambers, pressure builds and builds and builds until the magma is forced up and out a volcano's vent. Erupted magma can spurt out and flow down a volcano like red hot syrup. This fluid lava cools to form either spiky chunks called A, or smooth ropey surfaces called pahoa. A, which is spiky, pahoa, which is smooth. Magma can also burst out in solid chunks called tephra. Remember we learned that pH has the F sound? Tephra. Now, tephra can be tiny bits called ash, lightweight, gas-filled pieces, pumice, or solid rocks and boulders, lava bombs. But what determines whether lava erupts peacefully or dangerously? Let's find out. Beautiful illustrations. Pow! Gases blast lava out in an explosive eruption. Hiss! Gases and lava slowly seep out in a creative eruption. Gas determines whether an eruption creates or destroys. Creates or destroys. Rising gas pushes lava out of a volcano in destructive eruptions. Gases get trapped inside the thick magma or are blocked by plugs in the vents. Pressure builds until lava, ash, and gases explode all at once like soda from a shaken can. In creative eruptions, vents are open and gases escape. Slowly, like when you carefully unscrew a soda bottle. Lava bubbles and sprays like water from a hose, or oozes out like toothpaste from a tube. Layer upon layer of lava piles up, forming lava domes. Over time, peaceful eruptions can build mountains. See, class? That's called creative eruptions. Creative eruptions build. Destructive eruptions destroy. Destructive comes from the root word destroy. Creative comes from the root word create. Creative eruptions occur 3 times more often than violent ones. They happen all over the world in all kinds of different places. Helicopter. A creative eruption can start with the ground swelling a tiny bit each year. Magma gathering underground creates a bulge that may one day make a new mountain. And class, as we've discussed, making a mountain is creative. So this book is focusing on the creative ways that volcanoes make things, rather than destructive ways where volcanoes destroy things, which most people think of when they think of volcanoes. In the Cascade Range in central Oregon, 3 composite volcanoes, massive cones made from layers of both lava and ash, sit in a tight cluster, as if they're having a tea party. They're called the 3 sisters, North, Middle, and South Sister. But wait, what is this? A large area next to South Sister rose from inches, 10 centimeters between 1996 and 2000, and continues to rise. This uplift is caused by magma. Pulling a few miles under the surface, scientists think a new volcano, West Sister, may join the party sometime, giving us yet another spectacular mountain to explore. Sometimes creation happens more quickly. Volcanoes can appear out of nowhere. One day, the ground cracks and ash spurts out, forming a new volcano. In 1943, as a farmer plowed his cornfield in Paracoutin, Paricoutin, that's the pronunciation, Paricoutin. So that taught me how to pronounce it because I'm not familiar with that word. Paricoutin, Paricoutin, Paricoutin. Mexico. Ash exploded from a crack in the ground and rained down, creating a steep cinder cone. In a day, the cone reached 164 feet, which is 50 meters high. In a week, it stood 500 feet, which is 150 meters tall. Ash slowly buried the farm and nearby villages, but the family and villagers moved to land close by and began farming the rich ash-fertilized fields. After a year, how did we pronounce that again? Let's look. Pronunciation, Paricoutin. So this word is Paricoutin. After a year, Paricoutin's cone was more than 1,000 feet, which is 330 meters tall. After 9 years, the cinder cone volcano stood more than 1,300 feet, which is 424 meters. Paricoutin is considered one of the wonders of the world. It created a mountain, fertilized fields, and gave scientists the chance to study the fast growth of a new volcano. Volcanoes even make mountains underwater. If these submarine volcanoes grow high enough, their tips from new islands. Let's read this again. Volcanoes even make mountains underwater. If these submarine volcanoes grow high enough, their tips form new islands. Volcanoes even make mountains underwater. If these submarine volcanoes grow high enough, their tips form new islands. And remember, we've been working on there. And what does this there show? Tell the person reading this with you. THEIR shows possession or ownership. Three-quarters of volcanic activity takes place deep in the ocean. In 1963, a submarine volcano near Iceland erupted to create the island of Surtsey. In a few years, the island rose more than 550 feet, which is 167 meters above sea level, and grew to be more than a mile, which is 2 kilometers across. Moss and lichen took hold of lava rocks. A bush grew, and then other plants followed. Finally, seals, puffins, and other animals began breeding there. Surtsey now hosts a small hut for researchers, a new laboratory for watching what happens on a new island. This is a puffin. Some volcanoes secretly erupt under glaciers, hiding growing mountains deep under thick ice. A glacier is thick ice, and some volcanoes secretly erupt under glaciers, hiding growing mountains deep under thick ice. So here's another pronunciation. Grímsvötn. Grímsvötn, Iceland's most frequently active volcano, lies beneath the country's largest glacier. Here's another pronunciation. Vatna ya ku kut el. Vatna you kut el. Wait a minute, that's ya. Vatna ya kut el. Now let's say it all together. Vatna you kut el. Vatna you kutel. Vatna you kutel. Vatna you kutel. That is the language that people in Iceland speak. So it might be a little hard for those of us who grew up in America to understand, because letters have different sounds in different countries. Vatna you kutel. With only a bit of its rim exposed, underneath the vast ice cap is a hot spot, a place where lots of magma from the Earth's mantle rises to the surface. This makes for a very creative volcanic environment, causing Iceland to constantly grow in size. So, as we discussed earlier, volcanoes in Iceland are creating new land. Creative eruptions can continue for a really long time. Whoosh! Fountains of red hot lava squirt high into the air. Gurgle! Stinky lava streams to the shore. Fluid lava hits the ocean, streaming and hardens to form new land. Let's see. For more than 25 years, Shield Volcano Kilauea, here's the pronunciation, Kilauea. For more than 25 years, Shield Volcano Kilauea, on the big island of Hawaii has been in a state of creative eruption. Shield volcanoes have lots of vents, allowing runny lava to leak from cracks to form broad mounds that are shaped like shields. Kilauea's constant eruption has added more than 500 acres, 202 hectares to the island. That's more than 314 soccer fields. No one works or plays soccer on this new acreage yet, but they will. After all, where would the people of Hawaii live if not for the creative eruptions that helped build all their islands? So what this is saying, boys and girls, is that Hawaii was created by volcanic eruptions. Hawaii would not exist if it wasn't for the creative nature of volcanoes. Most volcanoes have both destructive and creative eruptions. Wham! They blow their tops, then spurt, gurgle, scrape. They get down to the business of building a new dome. In 1980, Mount St. Helens in Washington state exploded, losing 1,300 feet or 396 meters off its top, shooting a huge black ash cloud higher than airplanes fly, and mowing down massive trees as if they were toothpicks. Right after the eruption, the volcano began oozing squishy lava pancakes, building a new dome, 876 feet, which is 267 meters high. That's the height of a 50-story building. Then, after a 13-year rest, the volcano started pushing out huge slabs of hardened lava so fast it could fill a bedroom in a minute. It built a dome higher than the Empire State Building. Someday, Mount St. Helens will completely rebuild its summit, all 1,300 feet or more. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Kabam, bam, boom. Even the most dangerous volcanoes, supervolcanoes, can do creative work. Between gigantic eruptions, they can erupt gently for many years, repairing the scarred land. That's interesting. Repairing the scarred land. So many positive things about volcanoes. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, the Yellowstone supervolcano had 3 gigantic eruptions that blanketed most of the United States with ash. So much magma exploded out from underground that the surface collapsed, swallowing mountains and creating a gigantic crater called caldera. Since the last destructive eruption 640,000 years ago, 30 gentle lava flows have nearly filled in the caldera. Some of these lava flows have been thick and widespread, as large as 130 square miles, which is 340 square kilometers, twice the size of Washington, D.C., but the flow oozed slowly, moving at most a few hundred feet per day, smoothing out the land over thousands of years. Beautiful illustrations. To save roads, houses, and harbors, people have tried to stop creative eruptions. But even gentle lava flows are hard to halt. Engineers in Italy tried to dam lava flowing from Mount Etna. They diverted the flow but couldn't stop it. The U.S. Army bombed Mauna Loa in Hawaii to redirect lava from the city of Hilo. They missed the target, but luckily the flow ceased on its own. Ceased means stopped. For 5 months, Icelanders sprayed millions of gallons of water on lava from Heimaey, 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 from Heimaey volcano, hoping to halt the lava flow by cooling it. They slowed the flow, but still the eruption added 1 square mile, which is 2.5 square kilometers, of new land to the island, and narrowed the entrance to the town's harbor. Still, people are rarely hurt by creative eruptions because they can outwalk or outrun them. In fact, we inch up as close as we can to these eruptions, even underwater, to watch the landscape changing. Scientists sent underwater robots to hover feet from submarine volcanoes. Scientists send underwater robots to hover feet from submarine volcanoes. Let's read that again. Scientists send underwater robots to hover feet from submarine volcanoes, observing ashen pillow lava pulsing from the vent, waiting for an island to be born. Visitors stroll right up to the bubbling lava leaking out of Kilauea, feeling the heat, squinting at the red-hot glow as an island expands. Hikers climb to Mount St. Helens crater rim, smelling the rotten egg gases, hearing the rumbling of new rocks being made, watching as a volcano rebuilds itself. Creative eruptions give us all a chance to witness the power of a volcano rising. The end. This is a bibliography. A bibliography gives credit to the facts that were given in the book. Because if you don't tell people where you got your information from, that's called plagiarism. But if you do tell people where you get the information from, that's not plagiarism. Volcano vocabulary. Vocabulary are words that you're learning in this book. So, when you get a minute, you can pause this page and you can go over and learn these words and pronunciations with an adult or an older sibling. I hope you enjoyed this book. And until next time, tomorrow, tune in while we make a volcano as a science project. I'll see you then. Bye, class.